This right here is the Godox VL150. If you've been following my channel, you know that I've raved about this light for a long time. After using it on several of my projects over the last 6 months, I think that it is the budget option over the Aputure 120D Mark II. So this is my 6-month review of the Godox VL150. And let me tell you, it does not disappoint. When you buy the VL150, it comes with a super nice case, the light, a power bank, the controller, a remote, and the spot attachment. Compared to the Aputure 120D Mark II, it's really similar what you get in the box. Other than the 120D Mark II, it doesn't have the second power bank. It's just the controller, which does tighten things up a little bit, but I'll talk about that more when I get to the cons. This awesome light retails for $399 on most websites, and super often I can find it for even cheaper at almost $299, which is actually how much I bought mine for back in the holidays. A little disclaimer, this video isn't to bash Aputure at all. I love Aputure. I've used their products for a really long time, and I'm a huge fan of their lights. But I've always wondered if there's a better option, like a cheaper option, a budget option, so I don't have to go out and spend $750 on a 150 watt and almost $1,300 on a 300 watt. Even though I think their lights are fantastic, I think that Godox brings a really good budget option for beginner filmmakers, indie filmmakers who may not have the budget to buy those super expensive Aputure lights or to rent them. So kind of like I mentioned before, this is a 150 watt LED light, or more specifically, a COB LED light. With that type of power, you can use this as a key light, a kicker light, or even an emphasis light. It goes all the way from 0% to 100% when it comes to the controller. The controller is small and compact. One of my favorite things about this light is that it's compatible with V-mount batteries. In this clip that I'm showing you right now, I did use this light as my key light in order to light up my subject at night, and we were outside, so I did get to use the V-mount attachment for this, and the light performed perfectly. If you want to see the specs of how much power is drawn out from this light, or how long it'll last on a battery and stuff like that, this isn't the video for you. You can check out Gerald and Dunn's video or someone else that may have done those tests, and they'll be able to help you out in that criteria. But this light does give you the opportunity to have wireless options, so you can use the app that Godox has made, or you can use the remote that is provided in the case. It also comes with this really nice nylon clip that lets you attach it to the side of the light, so it can just hang there on the side with your battery or your attachments, which tightens up your setup, makes it look clean and professional. One thing that Godox added on to these lights that made me super happy was, even though they have a second power bank with these lights, they give you the opportunity to attach them via the V-mount attachment on the controller box. You just add on this little Velcro piece to the actual power bank and clip it onto the controller box, and it slides in there perfectly. And if you use these little Velcro strap attachments, you can clean up the cord and have it just curl around and plug in perfectly. In order to plug it into the wall, Godox provided this super long cord. And when I say long, it is really long. It's almost 10 feet, which I actually really appreciate, because when I'm running this light super high up, I do need some extra feet in order to plug it in, so I don't have to use extension cords in some situations. But I do like how lightweight and not clunky this cord is. Also, the cord that attaches to the light from the actual controller is really well put together. It's built perfectly, and I haven't had any issues with it. Other than the fact that sometimes it has seemed a little short, but I've gotten around it by just moving the power bank to a different type of hanging spot, and then I can reach the light where I need it to be. Lastly, this little spot attachment. I actually use it a little more often than I thought I would. The case is almost exactly like the Aputure 120D Mark II. It's super durable, it fits everything that you need, and a little bonus, you look super professional carrying that into a studio. As far as how it looks on the subject, well, it looks fantastic. I think it provides a super nice tone on your subject or whatever you're shooting. As far as skin tones, I haven't really noticed any temperature or tint shifts. I honestly just match my camera to what it's rated for, which is usually between 5,000 and 5,600. Now, I don't really have the tools to test whether or not this is accurate to 5,600 Kelvin, but when I match my camera to it, I haven't had any issues. The only cons that I can really mention about this light are two things. One, I'm not a huge fan of the fact that the handle on the side is a knob. I wish it would have been a handle. which is exactly how the 120D Mark II is. And I think that is a perfect style for that. But in all fairness, I haven't found any issues with it. The second con is the fact that there's a power bank that attaches to the control box. I like what they've done in getting over this obstacle without having to take away the power box entirely and kind of compacting your setup together a little bit better. I wish they would have just gotten rid of the power box completely, which will probably come out in a different model. Before I got this light, I was using the Sakani X60 version 2. There were a lot of things that I didn't like about that at all. It's not very powerful because it's only 80 watts. Jumping to 150 watts, there really is a huge difference that I didn't think I was gonna notice. But 150 watts is very powerful and gives me the opportunity to have a key light without bumping to 300 watts or 200 watts. Now I do also own the VL200, which I'm gonna do a comparison video between the 150, the 200, and an Aputure 300D Mark II. So make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss out on that video when I post it. So to wrap things up really quick, I love this light. It's fantastic. I think it was a perfect purchase. And for $300 for how much I got it, or $400 right now, it is a fantastic budget alternative to the Aputure 120D Mark II, and I think it's just as good of a light. I've used both of them. I bet if I looked at them side by side, I could see some tint differences, maybe, but in all fairness, and in my opinion, for $350 less, this is the light that you should buy. If you enjoyed this review, feel free to drop a like and subscribe and hit that bell button so you never miss out on new young filmmaker content. Good luck filmmaking.